Well, look at there, boys.
Hey, how is everybody doing this evening? Doing good? Doing good? Thank you for the, thank you. It's my first time actually here, and very enjoyable. I had a great time in town. Had some good places to eat. Really enjoyed myself. So thank you for the warm welcome. Is everybody comfortable this evening? Everybody comfortable? If you're not comfortable, get comfortable, because it's very important to be comfortable. Nothing worse than being uncomfortable. I want everybody to be comfortable. I want to be comfortable. And most importantly, I don't like to make people uncomfortable. If I do, I really, feel really bad about that. So if I make anybody uncomfortable, wave your hand and say, hey, you're making me uncomfortable. I'm going to make every effort not to do that tonight. What makes me uncomfortable is when someone else tries to challenge me or put me in a situation that makes me uncomfortable, or which, in essence could make someone else uncomfortable. Confused? Well, let me tell you a story. Not too long ago, I was at a wedding. Does everybody like to go to weddings? You like to go to weddings? This wedding I went to this past summer, the temperature had to be 150 degrees. It was just an inferno. So before the wedding, I was thinking, what am I going to wear? Am I going to go with the tie, go without the tie? And I decided, I'm going without the tie. Made an executive decision. So I put a nice belt shirt on, ironed a nice pair of Dockers, and showed up at the wedding. I'm not sure if anybody has a friend or a family member like this, but as soon as I got there, a guy came up to me and said, hey, when do we get the memo? We're not wearing ties to the wedding. So I looked at him and I said, memo. I said, it's 2011. People don't do memos anymore. I got a text message on my phone. I had an email. I had a message on Facebook, and I even got a tweet that we weren't wearing ties to the wedding. So I didn't get any memo, and kind of put him in his place a little bit, and he dropped his head down, walked away, and left me alone for the rest of the night, which was perfect for probably me and him, more importantly me. So that was kind of a funny, uncomfortable moment that I got to turn around and put on him. If you notice, I'm not wearing a tie. I can do anything, I can do everything much better without a tie on. I try to think of occasions when you need a tie, and of course sometimes weddings, funerals, graduation parties, dinners, important events, but I haven't quite got the grasp of the necktie. Every other item of clothing, from a hat down to shoes, including gloves, mittens, scarves, all serve a purpose in what people wear. But I can't find any technical use for a tie except for the potential of hanging somebody. So that's, I struggle with that, and I play by the rules of society, and I do wear a tie when required, but just for the fun of it, and just because I feel like it, adds to my ensemble, which I typically don't have one, but I don't wear a tie unless I'm absolutely required to do so. So if my tie, lack of a tie today offends you, I apologize for that, but I'm not going to put one on just to I'm so uncomfortable in a tie that I mentioned a minute ago about that wedding I was at. Now, have you ever been to a wedding and you see the little kid who's about 7 or 8 years old, and his parents forced him to put a tie on, and his parents forced him to put a tie on, and he's terribly just beside himself because he's sitting there, he's got that look on his neck and his face like, get this tie off me, I can't handle it. And they go to eat, and they can't even bend their elbows right because the tie's so tight. We know that he's 100 times more comfortable in a tie than I am. So you don't want to see me in a tie, and usually if you do, it's usually at an event that you probably don't want to be at anyway. So gotta avoid a tie if at all possible. Something that is uncomfortable can actually be enjoyable in some kind of crazy situations. And I'm not talking about the uncomfortable silence when somebody says something they shouldn't have said in front of somebody that's inappropriate, or when you see somebody fall down. You should help them pick them up, and it's like, oh, what do I do here in this situation? Those are often uncomfortable situations that we don't want to happen. At least we don't want it to happen to us. Happen to somebody else, we can kind of laugh and go on with life, or do whatever, or help the person, or do whatever. But what I'm talking about is kind of like the story I told a minute ago. Is if somebody puts you in an awkward position and tries to get one up on you, and you can turn that uncomfortable moment back around and kind of nail them with it. That can be very, very enjoyable. And here's an example of that. A friend of mine recently came up to me and he asked a question like this. He said, "Hey, what do you know about Lisa's new boyfriend?" As if I am the expert of Lisa and or her boyfriends. And I kind of thought, why is he asking me this? So I instantly thought of a good response, and here's what I said. When he said, "Hey, what do you know about Lisa's new boyfriend?" I said, Lisa's new boyfriend. Well, I know his name's Bill. He wears size 11E shoes. His waist size is 34 and his inseam is 33. His mother and father are still married and alive. His father's a retired steelworker. His mother's a retired English teacher who still works at her church and does charity work. The father is in a golf league and golfs 3 times a week. In high school, he graduated 8th in a class of 79. He was a 3-year letter winner in wrestling, 2-year letter winner in basketball, and he also was in the choir and did several fundraisers for local community work. When he went to college, he majored in business administration with a concentration in accounting. After college, he immediately found a position with an accounting firm where, by the way, he will be sitting for a CPA exam next July. He's in the Kiwanis Club as well as the Rotary Club, where he is the vice president. He drives a 2006 Honda Accord, which has approximately 90,000 miles, and he's due for an oil change. He lives in an apartment right now with his roommate, who is a high school friend of his, and they actually do work at the same accounting firm. He is a registered Republican and has not voted in the last 2 presidential elections. That's all I know. And from that response, he merely turned around and walked away and had nothing to say. I think he was a little creeped out a little bit. So that was fun to do that. Speaking of fun, I've had fun tonight. I hope you all have had fun tonight too. You guys take care, and hopefully I'll see you next time I'm in town. Have a good one.